Mac, I come to you with my hat in my hand.
Oh,
Forgiveness, maybe.
okay.
Or I feel like I have found common ground with someone who I thought was a movie villain, an all-time terrible father, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is Peter McAllister. Every time that we have discussed Home Alone, how when Uncle Frank calls his son Kevin a little jerk,
Yep.
I've always said, hey, any father would step in there and say, hey, why don't you shove it up your butt? But
Not real.
now,
Well, all right.
I'll say, but now I understand.
Okay. Explain.
Sometimes kids are just little jerks.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like it depends who it's coming from. Like, if your close relative calls your kid a little jerk, I feel like you can't get upset about it. They're probably being a little jerk, you know?
Granted, don't get me wrong, the way that Uncle Frank says it, a little much.
Total asshole. Peter McAllister, not a great dad. He's got, first of all, too many kids.
Well, let's also, I'm not going to forgive him for, leaving his kid twice, forgetting about his kid twice. Fool me once, fool me twice. But, at the beginning, I've always been very, very hard on him for that one comment.
All right.
But hey, I apologize.
You can apologize, but we still agree that he sucks.
He does. But also, that one thing, though, like I feel like when I watch Home Alone this year, I'm going to side with him.
You're going to be like, you know what? I get it. Yeah.
Like, Kevin's a real piece of shit.
One goo, three, yeah. Goo. Jaws 3. Goo. King of Queens. Goo. Meryl Streep. Goo. Entertainment.
I'm Goo.
And I'm Mac.
And we are the Mac and Goo program. We bring you sky high friendship.
Oh, soaring friendship, Goo.
That's good too. I like that one.
Yeah, today we are bringing you a trio of friendship. We unfortunately don't have a third one here to complete our triumvirate, but a duo will be good enough.
I just reached over to pick up a puppet that I don't have. I'm like, do I have a puppet in here that I can make our third person?
You know, if anyone would have a puppet within arm's distance,
that's what I just thought. I was like, I might have a puppet in here.
Today we are discussing The Marvels, of course, the latest MCU movie, the 42nd entry into the MCU, 33rd movie, Goo.
May I read my pre-written statement?
What do you got here, Goo?
More like the Mehvilles.
I don't care for that attitude, Goo.
Well, get ready for a whole bunch of that.
Would you have a bad experience in the theater?
Yeah, because of what I watched.
Oh, wow. Really?
Kind of stinks.
Couldn't disagree more.
Couldn't
disagree more.
Yeah,
Actually,
well,
I don't think there's much wrong with it. I think it's capped going in. I don't have many complaints about this movie.
Look, I'll say this
I enjoyed the ride.
They took a couple swings that I appreciated, but also did not find very funny.
Yeah, you're just a real sourpuss. This whole McAllister thing's been in your head probably all weekend.
Now that me and Peter McAllister are the same thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. Real fucking McAllister.
I hate fun things.
Oh, Christ. All right. The Marvels, Goo, is a PG-13 action, adventure, and fantasy with a runtime of 105 minutes. But really, it was probably more like 95 if you take out the credits and whatnot.
And the flashbacks. If you take out the flashbacks, it's like an hour. Like they had to. So I understand why, because they assume that most people have not seen Miss Marvel. And then they also said it's been a long time since Carol Danvers has been on the screen. We need to kind of fill in those blanks. And maybe
plus WandaVision.
WandaVision. So a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah. Well, not a lot. There was like maybe 2 minutes
more than the average bear.
Maybe 2 minutes total, but they needed that for the simpletons who have not seen those properties. So you're right. It was a bit distracting, but it made sense as to why they did it. Goo, this is sorry. I already said it was PG-13 on Roddy T's. Goo, 62% from the critics, 84% from the audience.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't care about Roddy T. So you're talking to the wrong person. Yeah.
Comparatively, the first Captain Marvel from 2019, 79% from the critics, 45% from the audience.
You can throw the 45 away.
That got review bombed.
Yeah.
Stunning to me that the critics liked that movie more than this. Although, if you think about it, that's mostly self-contained origin story, so they didn't need to know other stuff. This movie, you needed to have seen at least 2 other things. So the critics are just real curmudgeons when it comes to that. Shared universes, they hate that shit.
Well, I would just say, like, and not to jump too far ahead here, we are just in the first 30 seconds of our podcast. When did I hit record? But besides Kamala Khan, not much else here for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, McAllister. I was gonna say, Goo, the thing that throws me off here is 62%. Miss Marvel, the show, Goo, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
80% from the audience.
Because
Similar
that
audience
character rules. That
Yeah,
character's
and
great. I love that character.
She dominates a lot of this movie. So this just felt like an extended episode of the show with more stakes, of course. But this felt a lot like that series felt like tonally.
I would say that anything that is said by any other character in this movie, really bad dialogue. Anything that's not her or her family, terrible dialogue.
Yeah, I don't agree at all. I didn't have an issue with the dialogue
That's because you
whatsoever.
wrote the movie.
Goo, on Metacritic, which obviously you put your review in, a 50 on Metacritic. If I'm not mistaken, that is the lowest Metacritic score in the MCU. Now, I might have missed one.
You need to explain Metacritic every episode because I forget. Let's have flashbacks.
This is where the critics actually give it a score and they average the score. 50. Goo, there is a number of movies a lot worse than this in the MCU. 50 is insane. Insane. It makes no fucking sense to me. And again, for comparison, what this movie feels most like is a combo of the first Captain Marvel and the Miss Marvel show. Those had a 64, Captain Marvel, and a 78 for Miss Marvel.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't at all. It's to like Captain Marvel, to like Miss Marvel, and to not like this, it doesn't make sense. You'll have to explain that if that's the case. Goo, this movie is written by Nia DaCosta. You would know her from Candyman, the one from a couple years ago. Megan McDonald, she was a writer on WandaVision. And Alyssa Karasik, she was a writer on Loki season 1. This is directed by Nia DaCosta. She also directed Candyman. Goo, synopsis. And by the way, I had no issue with the direction nor the writing. I thought they were all perfectly fine.
Yep, Kevin Feige did a great job on both.
No, 3 writers in here. Come on.
Maybe.
Carol Danvers gets her powers entangled with those of Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau, forcing them to work together to save the universe. This movie stars Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau, Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and Zawe Ashton as Dar-Ben. She's the villain. Go ahead, Goo.
Is this taking place? This is after Secret Invasion, correct?
That I don't know. That I'm not so sure.
I'm assuming it is, right?
It may be.
Because I feel like Nick Fury was a little too laid back with what just happened.
Oh, no. He, like the end of Secret Invasion, he's like all set, you know. He's over the hill. He just wants to kind of relax, and he's very relaxed in this.
He's a little too relaxed.
He's in the catbird seat. He should have died a million times. He's got nothing to lose at this point.
I'm going to write down my note in spoilers. I don't want to say it here.
All right. Some other characters in here that played a part. Gary Lewis is Emperor Droge. Drogue. I don't know how to say it. He was the Skrull leader on that Skrull planet that we visit. Also, what I really liked about this, and we really only have gotten this in Infinity War, Endgame, and the Guardians movies, jumping around the galaxy. That's always fun to me. I enjoy that. Park Seo-joon, I probably butchered that, as Prince Yan. Zenobia Shroff as Muniba Khan. That's Kamala's mother. Mohar Kapoor as Yusuf Khan. That's the father. Sagar Shaikh as Amir Khan. He's the brother. All 3 are phenomenal, and they were phenomenal from the show.
All the Khans are great.
Great.
All of the Khans are great. Yes.
She's one of the best characters that wasn't in like the original equation. From the last 5 years, she's one of the best things they've done.
I also want to say this. She is the exact same off the camera, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I really want to see her and Peter Parker interact, and I hope that happens pretty soon. The other 3 here, we got Layla Farzad. She was one of the Saber astronauts that you see at the beginning, as well as Abraham Papula. He's the 300-year-old named Dog. Mm-hmm. Is he an Asgardian? He had some Asgardian beard type stuff, and he's 300 years old.
That's cool.
He may have been an Asgardian. And then Daniel Ings is Tyrone. His name is just Tyrone. That was Dar-Ben's like #1 in command, the right-hand man there.
Mm-hmm.
Goo, any thoughts on those skits?
Yeah, my question here with Dar-Ben, and I wrote this down. You see my note? Javier Dar-Ben. It's good. It's a good joke. I like it.
Okay. All right.
Bardem.
Nice.
Also, I didn't know what her name was the entire movie. I had to read your notes to know.
My main gripe about this movie, Goo, and it's real. Honestly, the first act is clunky, but outside that, my only major gripe about this movie is if you're gonna tell me that the Bengal that she finds on that fucking moon or planet, whatever, and because she finds that and opens up these shitty rifts, that causes an entanglement because it activates the other Bengal. Why is she not entangled with our 3 heroes?
I'm also curious who hid that second Bengal. It's very, very far from the first one.
Yeah, I think that was the point, to keep them separate. You didn't want one person to get a hold of them. I think that's it. It's just kind of like Infinity Stones.
Well, it still happened, though.
Well, yeah, just like it did with Infinity Stones. I don't see you complaining about that.
I never complained about anything. I'm not even complaining about this. I'm just asking questions.
I don't quite understand why our 3 Marvels swap and Dar-Ben doesn't swap with them. Now, I think they sort of almost intentionally show you her not using the Bengal while they're using powers to maybe say that's why, but it's hard to wrap my mind around that. That definitely bothered me from the beginning.
But if she's absorbing powers while someone else is using power, that is using a power, absorbing other people's powers.
No, because the Bengal is absorbing it. And
I know,
she doesn't really have a power.
That's using a power, though. If
she doesn't, no, because she doesn't really have a power.
Are you telling me that
you have to remember Kamala has mutated genes. She's a mutant. She has powers other than the Bengal, and you see that when the Bengal comes off, she still has powers.
But let me ask you a question. If a sponge is just sopping up water, isn't it working? Isn't it being used? The Bengal is sopping up power, therefore it is being used.
I know. What I'm saying is the clarification may very well be that Dar-Ben doesn't have any powers, and that's why. She's just utilizing the Bengal. I'm saying that's a possibility.
So you're just answering your own question. You're answering your own question then.
I'm just trying to figure out what I'm playing devil's advocate here. But I was bothered by that from the jump because that happens pretty early.
Do you even need me here? Can you just talk to yourself then?
Cool. I had a feeling that you might not like this, and I don't know if it hit for me, but I think it fits the goofy tone of the movie.
Mm-hmm. They
land on Adladna, this planet that in the comics I think they speak in rhyme. In this, they had them sing, so sort of whatever, one and the same. It was goofy for sure.
Look, everything with this and the Flurkin, I like the idea of, but when it happened, I would just roll my eyes and be like, "This is kind of stupid. This is not great."
Yeah, but Goo, a lot of shit like that happens in the 3 Guardians movies, and I've never heard you call it stupid.
I've called a lot of stuff in the second movie stupid. What are you talking about? And then you're like, you can't like the second one.
You have one major gripe with the second movie. You haven't called a lot of shit stupid.
I've called some stuff in the second one stupid. Yeah, I have.
Go check the receipts. Point being,
there's no audio for it.
There's a lot of stuff like that in the Guardians movies, and it seems bizarre for you to draw the line.
Let me also say this, is that with the Guardians movies, you are dealing with goofier characters. You are dealing with a goofier leading character in Peter Quill. With this one, although Kamala is kind of a goofy character, it still has to do with Carol Danvers' story. So it feels out of place with her.
Oh, I don't agree, because I almost feel like the audience is viewing the story through Kamala. And so when you look at it like that, it makes a lot of sense, because she has this like young girlish charm and this like happy to be there type thing. And that's what a lot of the movie felt like. And it felt more like a Kamala movie than anything, even though Captain Marvel and Monica are there.
Goofy, silly Kamala in more serious situations because the other 2 characters are so serious.
Brie cracks a little bit, but Monica Rambeau doesn't. She's pretty serious throughout, but you sort of understand why. She's been through a lot of fucking shit. I just felt like this felt like an extension of the show Miss Marvel, which I really enjoyed and admittedly probably liked more than most. And I don't know how, like for you, I don't understand how, because you also really like that show and not really like this movie.
I did. I really like her, but outside of her, I would fail the movie. I think the rest of the movie sucks.
Yeah, I don't agree whatsoever.
Okay.
All right.
I'm really happy to hear that from you.
Let's-
I'm happy that you enjoyed your experience.
Yeah, but like did you like the first Captain Marvel movie?
Yeah, I thought
Did
it was
you like
fine.
so you liked that more than this?
Yes.
I
Oh
think
my
that's
God,
insane.
yes.
This
I
is
like
better.
that one way more than this.
This is better. Definitely better.
This feels like just like a zombified version of what we had there. And like I said, the dialogue in this was terrible, and the lines were not delivered well. And this was a real hard sit for me.
I enjoy this. Now, listen, I didn't love this movie, but this movie was a lot of fun for me. I enjoyed it. I giggled. I ate some popcorn. I had a heck of a time. Dude.
I had some.
I don't know what the hell happened to you.
I ate popcorn. Want to check that receipt?
Bad popcorn, I guess.
No, it was good popcorn.
Maybe you focus on the popcorn.
I ate it really quick, and then I had no more. So
I almost finished a large this time. Credit to me.
Oh, I only got a small because I didn't want to have too much for my tummy.
Chuffeel.
Yeah. Want to do the fun factor stuff?
Sure.
Mac, let's get to the octagon. First up is fun factor. And first off, Kamala Khan is fun. And then also, I liked, and I wish they did more of this, is them having difficulties swapping off with the powers. They did it a decent amount, but just do it more.
Oh, yeah. See, but I feel like that's the messiest part of the movie. And I think they did it just enough because the swap messiness with the story as well at the beginning. And that's where I felt like was the weakest part of the movie is the first act. So I was fine with the amount that they did it. And you got a good enough montage to show them not mastering it, but figuring it out somewhat. So I was happy with that. Because Kamala is in the whole movie, I thought the whole movie was fun. I had fun the whole runtime.
I actually liked the first act more than the third act. I hated the third act.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It was so cookie cutter and bland.
Oh, good.
And the villain,
the first
villain
act is so
stinks.
clearly the worst of the three acts.
I'd argue that none of the three are that great, but the first one at least gives you a
true.
ton of Kamala and her family.
Kamala's in the whole movie. Her family's in the whole movie.
But it's more.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It was spaced out. It was fucking good throughout.
Yeah, I know the movie's in space. I get it, Mac.
I had fun in space, and you clearly didn't.
Satisfactor. There was the exact end of the movie and the end credits that, even though I knew one of them was coming, I'm pretty satisfied by it.
The end of the movie, which wasn't quite like a mid or post credit, that was pretty satisfying. We had an idea that was going to happen, but the way they do it, because it's a Kamala thing, I think was awesome. And then obviously the mid credit here, which you and I were well aware of for a while. I'm sure a lot of folks at home weren't, but that's pretty cool. Even though I hate the person playing the character, that's cool. And it opens up Pandora's box.
Voicing the character.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah. There is, but going into this movie, I knew it was going to lack some sort of satisfactor because I thought like the best version of this movie might be 36 hot dogs. And I knew it was going to be missing that like punch that a lot of the Marvel movies have. But to me, it felt like Satisfactor wise one of the Ant-Man movies. You knew you were capped going in, but you were hoping to enjoy the ride.
Borometer, were you bored during the movie? Really anything, because I don't think they drove it home, or they tried to drive it home, or they didn't do it well. But the stuff with Monica and with Captain Marvel having to do with her leaving or her mom, like I don't think that was done very well.
I wonder. It did feel a little rushed, but also they got shit to do, so I get that. I wonder if there was a couple scenes like cut between Monica and Carol, expanding upon that emotional connection, because it is legitimate. And obviously Monica is still dealing with a lot of PTSD from being blipped, and while she was blipped, her mother dies from cancer. So that's a whole thing that we haven't explored a ton yet. WandaVision gets into it a little bit. They get into it a little bit here, but that's a major thing. And I also think that's why when we get to the end of the movie, she does what she does. But I felt like this movie hit all of it. It never quite hit a home run, but there was a ton of singles, a ton of doubles. It hit the right notes throughout. I wasn't bored like at all.
Halloween. Will this movie wane over time? And I might forget a lot of this.
It's gonna be hard to weigh just because it's such a quick watch. Now, I'm not chipper to go rewatch it, but I don't have any ill will towards a rewatch, and I'm interested to see. So the Bengals are a big thing, and they've been setting them up along with the 10 rings going forward, and that's going to mean a lot. So there might be something to come back to in this movie.
Aquator, is this movie better than 2017's Aquaman? That was a noise of me being like, I don't know.
It's better by a lot.
I don't think it is.
By a lot.
I don't think it is. Pants Tent City. Excite Bike Mania. What got you going in this flick? The end of it, I really liked that last scene.
I really like the power set of Monica Rambeau. And part of it is because I don't fully understand it. And I just like that she can sort of do.
Oh, she can do that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, whatever. It's both a good and bad. Like, it leads to some fun stuff, and they're able to use it to excuse away things. But I love her power set. So anytime like she did stuff, I thought that was really cool. And of course, Kamala is just such a great character that I have fun watching her.
I will say this too, is that much like Superman, I know that you're a suit boy, but much like Superman, Captain Marvel's just kind of boring with her power set where she can just kind of do anything.
I agree. That's why I'm stunned you would say the first movie is better than this one, because I felt like...
Well, she barely had the powers. It was her learning who she was.
Sure, yeah.
Fall down 7 times, get up 8.
And I enjoy that movie. I just thought this was clearly better.
Max Credit Union, who would you like to give credit to? Kamala Khan. The character is great.
Yep,
Saves
Kamala
the movie for me.
Khan.
Yeah.
And what they may be setting up going forward, I hope they lean heavily on her. Her and Tom Holland as Spider-Man, I think, are the 2 linchpins going forward, hopefully.
And having said that, sorry, I know him very well, might only have 1 movie left.
Yeah, hopefully not, but maybe.
For those of you tardy to the Mac and Goo party, we rate everything on a 40 hot dog basis. Mac, since you love this movie, I'll let you go first.
I didn't love this movie. Again, I went in knowing I wasn't going to love the movie, but I really enjoyed my experience. Goo, I love Kamala, though. That said, I love Kamala. I really like that this movie skewed towards her goofiness because she's the best character of the 3. Tonally, it felt a lot more like her show than it did the Captain Marvel movie or WandaVision. Also, like we've talked about, her family is hysterical, and they didn't use them too much. They used them an appropriate amount. I thought it was a seamless transition for them from the Disney Plus side onto the big screen. I also thought Monica was very good. Now, one note, but she was very good at sort of being that emotional center of the 3, so it worked for me. I always like Brie Larson and everything she does. I have no complaints about her. I thought there was really good chemistry among the 3. They bounced off each other well. Like I said with Monica, it also applies to the other 2. The power sets are fun since we don't really understand them. They can kind of do this, kind of do that. It's basically whatever they want, but it works to a certain degree. The switching stuff that they use to hurt them and help them, it gets a little messy at times.
I like it the best.
And it doesn't fully make sense because sometimes they seem to both use powers but don't switch, and then another time it happened.
There was one time where 2 of them used it and they swapped with 1. That did confuse me, but it had the best line of the movie of, oh, it's just Carol.
Yeah, that was a great line.
That's the funniest line of the
movie. Got a great pop in my theater.
Yeah.
That was, but it's one of those things, like, I'm not diving deep into it because if I'm going to forgive the time travel in Endgame, I can't overthink this. It's just, it just gets messy. The first act in general is messy, but they get past it quickly. The villain was fine. She was neither good nor bad. Like, you understood her motives. To me, she was like a better version of Ronan because you didn't really understand why Ronan was doing what he's doing.
Ronan stinks, though.
She's a better version of that. You understood.
A better version of stinks.
Yeah, you understood what she was doing and why she was doing it, which is all you really need from a villain, I guess. But that's part of the reason why this movie's capped as well. You don't have a great villain potential here. Ultimately, like, I felt like this was one of the best outcomes of this movie. And again, I never thought this had 40 dog potential or anything like that. I don't have a ton to complain about. It was a mix of that first Captain Marvel movie with a heavy dose of Miss Marvel, both of which I enjoyed, plus a nice little dash of Monica, who has the awesome powers. I got this at 34 hot dogs, Goo. Number 22 in the MCU, just behind Wakanda Forever, just above Miss Marvel. But it's technically tied with like 6 or 7 MCU entries at 34 hot dogs. And for 2023, this is number 10, just behind Quantumania and just above Renfield.
You are gonna regret that.
No, I enjoyed this movie.
I just wanted to say that because you've told me that multiple times. I've given
it was fun. Right before we recorded, one of my college roommates, who's a big MCU guy, texted me and said he loved this movie.
He's gonna regret that too. Mac, I love Kamala Khan. I love the Khan family, but I just didn't really care for Monica or for Carol. I do really like the power swapping in this. I thought that was fun, and I could have used more of it. And I really liked that one scene where they knew what they were doing in their power swapping and they were planning things out ahead of time.
Yeah.
That was a pretty fun team. I also like them, planning it. See, Mac, I'm being pretty positive. The dialogue fucking sucked. It was bad. I really hated. It's like,
I don't know where that's coming from.
I didn't buy anything between any of these characters outside of Kamala.
Well, that's the acting. That's not the dialogue.
No, what they were given was pretty bad.
I feel like you're picking this bone and there's nothing there to pick off of it.
Speaking of being pretty bad, the villain stunk. Very
Yeah,
one note, not great. Better than stink, though, am I right?
Yeah. It was fine. Fine.
For having a short
good,
runtime, real bad pacing. I was waiting for this thing to end.
Jesus Christ, Goo. You got to find a new theater.
But then, having said that, by the time we got to that final scene, I'm like, give me more of this. I wanted this the whole time.
That is insane to me because I enjoyed, like, I want a second season of Miss Marvel.
Yes, I want Miss Marvel. I don't want the other two Marvels. The other two Marvels are not fun.
Which again brings me back to, how did you enjoy Captain Marvel?
Because she wasn't Marvel for most of it. She's a boring hero. Superman is a boring hero.
But what I'm pointing out here is your own point. It makes no sense for you to have enjoyed Captain Marvel the way you did and not like this.
No, I like the Superman origin
story. If you hated Captain Marvel and didn't like this, that makes sense.
Don't you put words in my mouth or thoughts in my brain, whatever you're trying to do right now. I got this at 25 hot dogs.
Jeez, Goo, that is low.
It is low. I have this just below Iron Man 3 and just above the Captain America boys.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
That's 35 out of 41.
This is... And
on the year, 23rd. Just below Indiana Jones, I'm an old man riding a horse in the subway.
How many movies you at for 2023, by the way?
32.
I think I'm at 38, I want to say.
I will get to like 40 to 50 by the end of the year.
I got this long-ass flight to Hawaii to and from, so I'm hoping to get 2 movies each
way. Brag. But I will say it's just better than The Machine.
What's The Machine? Oh, the Burt Kreischer movie?
So credit to them.
Jesus Christ, Goo.
Credit to them.
I feel like you're doing a bit or something. I just fully don't understand how you didn't like this movie.
It's not very good.
I thought it was like the definition of good. Not
and
great.
I'm a Marvel apologist. I am a Marvel. I get paid by Disney to say nice things about their movies, and I just can't do it.
It's like, to me, the very definition of good, not great is this in the first Ant-Man movie.
I think also coming off the back of, like, it's really stuck with me, the finale of Loki and how much I love that episode.
Yeah, but the 5 episodes prior to Loki were like just fine.
Can you shut up for 1 second?
But this ends on a high note too.
No, not really. The third act is bad. I like the final scene that doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Look, man, you can be off on Revis Island by yourself. Shall we spoil?
Yeah, let's get to the spoilers. Spoilers.
Can I point out my favorite part of the movie?
Sure.
Like, best laugh of the entire movie. My entire theater was cackling. When they were looking for someone to take the refugees, and Valkyrie, Rambeau roaded.
Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie,
yes.
Which, by the way, she's in this movie for a couple minutes.
She Rambeau roaded onto the ship.
Yeah, which was
and
cool.
So it had like that Marvel pan shot where like it shows her and like kind of like establishes her on a screen. And the lady sitting next to me goes, "Who the fuck is that?" Everyone in the theater died.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like
Yeah.
that. I got so first of all, I didn't know that the Asgardians could still use the Bifrost. I didn't know that that was still a thing that they could do. I liked
Does
it.
she have Stormbreaker? Because
I
Stormbreaker
think what
has
it is Heimdall's son probably has that, right? He's able to do that. I'm not really
Oh,
sure.
did Thor toss it to him like, hey, I'm gonna leave now. I'm gonna go play on the beach?
No, well, Thor can do that, sure, but I'm saying Heimdall could do that. And I'm pretty sure his son can.
Heimdall had a sword that could do that.
Well, to operate the bridge, yes. I think Heimdall could do it anyways, because remember in Endgame, he sends, or in Infinity War, he sends Hulk to Earth.
Do you think that there was an original line in the movie where Carol's like, wait, how do you do that without, all of your technology? And then she goes, just shut the fuck up.
So I'm pretty sure Heimdall's
cool.
son shoots her there. The second thing is what the biggest takeaway from Secret Invasion is the president hates aliens, hates mutants, hates everyone. So did she take the Skrulls back to New Asgard on Earth, or are they elsewhere?
No, New Asgard, Earth. That's
why would you
where
assume that though?
Because that's what she runs. Where else would she take them?
They very easily could have gone to a new planet because the president's like, hey, war with aliens.
Maybe, but I would assume that she would take them to the land that she now owns.
Yeah, that's what one would think on surface level, but then you consider Secret Invasion.
I'm a surface level
They might have
thinker.
a new planet.
I'm a surface level thinker. I love Windows products.
What I really liked about this movie, Goo, is not operating on Earth, finally being out in space. And the only movies that have really done that is Infinity War, Endgame, and the Guardians movie. So I liked that because what it does is you're not sitting there questioning, oh, where's so-and-so? Where's this person? Where's that person?
I did question that at the end. So, like I said earlier, I thought that Nick Fury was a little too loosey-goosey, if you ask me. And it really was at the end when Babar is trying to steal the sun, and she wants the Marvels to go there because she wants Miss Marvel's bangle.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Fury even points that out, and she's like, I'm not going to lose. He's like, all right, cool. See you later.
Yeah.
He's not like, no, you stay here and I will call any
Captain
of the
Marvel's
other heroes.
They're not going to lose with Captain Marvel.
They did lose the bangles, so it looks like she did lose.
For a second, yeah.
Yep. So.
Lost the bangle for a second.
I feel like Nick Fury on his game says, no, I'm going to send War Machine instead.
No, she very easily explains it. The only way to save the universe is to unite the two Bengals. So yes, that is a risk we're taking, but we need to also obtain the second Bengal to save the universe.
I'm just saying Nick Fury wouldn't have done that in the past.
I think he absolutely would have, because he has no attachment to Kamala Khan.
He would have gave it to someone better.
Like who?
Stronger.
Who could go out into space?
I just said War Machine.
War Machine's not going out to space. You shitting me?
Can you imagine that bangle on his War Machine body?
Don Cheadle would get up into the upper atmosphere and fucking piss himself.
War Machine, where'd you put the bangle? It's not on your wrist. Cling. It's on his cock, Mac. Cock talk.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Cock talk.
We got a review saying that we needed more cock. So there we go.
That's very true.
30
Dude,
seconds
let's
of
get
talk.
to the biggest takeaway from this movie. The mid-credit scene.
So let me also, so if the biggest takeaways and the best parts are the end of the movie and the mid-credit scenes, we've already said this a million times, that speaks poorly of the movie.
I knew going in this movie wasn't going to be great. I've never said
God.
This movie's great. I know what you're talking about. The biggest takeaway, clearly, though, is the X-Men, which would be the biggest takeaway in any non-Avengers movie. So.
X-Men, but also it just says that those X-Men are in an alternate reality.
Yeah, so here's the biggest thing. So number one, we get Kelsey Grammer voicing. Beast / Hank McCoy. And then we get
do you think they tried to put the makeup on him at first and he's like, I've got too much shit on
with a limp?
Yeah.
We did see him at the end of Days of Future Past, and he didn't look great. Well, I'll be honest, didn't look great there. But he is here as the voice, and we see Maria Rambeau, a variant of her. She might be binary, which I guess is a hero, but maybe just Captain Marvel. She's one of the two.
That the variant that was in Doctor Strange?
No, for sure not.
I'm asking you. Don't snap at me.
They also, of course, reference Charles, so they're in the X-Men mansion. But because Maria Rambeau is there and because it's a CGI beast, I don't think this is the X-Men that we know already. I think this is a version of the X-Men we haven't met.
I think it could be. I don't think there's like a definitive yes, no.
I don't think it's definitive, but I think it would be a weird choice to have like 7 movies with Kelsey Grammer as Beast and have him not be CGI. Even like if you look to the younger version of him,
Nicholas Hoult. I was going to ask you, do you think they tried to get Hoult first?
I don't know. That's a good question though. But those were not CGI beasts, and this one is. So I think that's a choice.
I think it's because Kelsey Grammer is really old, and it's really easy just to CGI him.
I think also that means it's a different version of the X-Men. That's all I'm saying. I think that, to me, is pretty cool.
All right, so go on Twitter right now. Do you side with Mac or Goo? Have I even said which side I side with?
One of the cooler scenes in the movie here, Goo, is in the conclusion.
This is the best scene of the movie.
After they've saved the universe, you have Kamala Khan sneaking into Kate Bishop's apartment, Nick Fury style, sitting down with the hat in the shadows. And she asks Kate Bishop to join a team she's building.
Pretty much the exact same dialogue that Nick Fury gives to Iron Man in Iron Man 1.
And she tries to be like kind of cool and intimidating. And then the jig is up because Kate Bishop's like, what? And then she's like, I got feelers out to Cassie Lang. So this is a setup, obviously, for the Young Avengers, which I think we'll see them maybe in the Thunderbolts as a team for the first time. That's my guess. And the other thing in this movie, Goo, Gusta Flurkin gives birth to 30 other Flurkins. What do you think about that?
It's too much.
I don't know what Flurkins can do. That's another thing. Because like inside their mouths is just it's like a quantum realm inside their mouths. They can just fit whatever they want.
That was a bit much.
I enjoyed that scene.
I liked the idea once again, but I'm just like, this is too much.
Other than Sam Jackson saying, oh, it's just Carol, what killed me was the PA announcer on the Saber station saying, don't run, the Flurkins are going to save us, and everyone's still running.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It was real good.
Yeah.
34 hot dogs, Goo.
Am I being too hard on this movie, Mac?
I think so. I mean, I might be
you're
a dog or too high.
I think you're being too soft.
No, I have the first Captain Marvel at 33 hot dogs.
I wouldn't be surprised if what the general consensus is like 29 or 30 hot dogs. And you're just being Daddy Bear. I'm being Mama Bear.
I don't know. I feel like it's hard to not like this movie. Now, I don't know if anyone's going to fucking love this movie. Sans my college roommate. But it's fun. It's quick. Kamala Khan's great. Like I have Miss Marvel at 34. I think I have Captain Marvel at 32, maybe 33. And this I thought was for sure better than the first movie and on par, if not better than the Miss Marvel series.
If you ever become someone that gets your like movie writings onto like Rotten Tomatoes, could your first one be either this is fucking awesome or this is fucking terrible and just get kicked off immediately?
I'll use Flurkin instead. This is Flurkin terrible. This is
No. We don't bleep each other out.
No. I'll bleep my F's. I won't bleep my C's. Like,
I'll bleep weird. My A's. My
guy's
B's
a real conservative writer, but he uses the word cunt quite a bit.
Like he wouldn't even say ass.
He used tookus and then cunt in the same sentence.
You only get one. Come on, man.
Let's get into Mac Sack.
And Mac Sack could be anything. It could be a boat. And Mac, I don't have anything in your sack. Do you have anything in your sack?
I got nothing. I'm interested to see some of the fallout from our Loki discussion there, Goo, talking about what we do for Kang going forward and who the big bad is going to be. They have a movie planned and named Kang Dynasty, so clearly he's still in there. But I think the conclusion of Loki obviously opens up stories into this X-Men type of universe that we see at the end of the Marvels, as well as maybe Doctor Doom comes in here, and that's how they introduce the Fantastic Four, which I think is a year and a half away, is that movie. So there's a lot of possibilities on the horizon, and a big part of that is because of the Loki finale. So I'm pretty intrigued as to where Marvel is going. Now,
it also
could get real messy, but I'm looking forward to it.
Also, Tom Hiddleston was on the Jimmy Fallon show. That is our Bible, of course.
Mhm.
And he said he pretty much made it known that this is kind of it for him and Marvel. Well, that's what he said, at least. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up again. But if this is it for him, his finale was great.
Yeah, I agree. Great send-off for the character. Some of the rumors I've seen is he might pop up in Secret Wars, like maybe be like a pulling the strings type of character, but I don't know. I almost don't want him to come back because it was such a good send-off.
It was, but I want, and also, like, we might not see this version of Thor again, but I still want to see these two together like one more time, Hemsworth and Hiddleston.
How do you really do that, though, being where Loki's at, you know? How would they get that to work?
If they both get killed and they both go to, is it Valhalla?
Valhalla. But so Loki being at the end of time, essentially now.
Yeah.
But he's not at the Citadel because I think that's where Renslayer is. So it's just his own little chair area.
Mhm.
For him to be removed from there, I think he's got to be killed, right?
So maybe a Kang kills him, and now that he's a good guy,
Maybe we get a
go to
variant.
Valhalla.
We get him as a variant, maybe.
I guess you can't do it. I don't know.
It would be hard to do.
Yeah.
Hard to explain.
But once again, awesome send off. I'm cool with it.
Yep. The last 20 minutes of Loki were phenomenal.
Iron Man, Tony Stark, best send off so far. Would you put it above or below the send off for Captain America before he shows up again?
It was very satisfying to see Steve Rogers go back and live out the life he wanted to live. It was more fitting for the Loki character. So wrestle that how you want to.
Well, because they both got what they wanted.
Loki didn't really get what he wanted.
Well,
he begrudgingly made a sacrifice.
No, but he did. And if you haven't seen the end of it, just turn this podcast off. All he's ever wanted in all of these movies is a throne. He got his throne.
I guess so. If you want to frame it like that, he is sitting on a throne.
He is sitting on a throne. He has what he wants. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Mac and Goo. Mac, where can people find us?
You can find us on Twitter and on Instagram at Mac_Goo. It's Mac7Goo. It includes Facebook, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Spreaker, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify, but more importantly, we're on Apple Podcasts. Get on there, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars. If you do that, we'll get you a free Mac and Goo t-shirt from the folks over at Watertown Sportswear. That's Watertown Sportswear on 34 Mud Auburn Street in Watertown, watertownsportswear.com. Expert screen printing and embroidery.
tpublic.com merch. We're about to have a bunch more merch and a change of our store on TeePublic for the I Think You Should Leave stuff. We're going to have a bunch of season 3 stuff coming out. And as soon as we do have our Cloth is Hairs, I'm going to buy 100 of them. I rewatched that sketch the other day, and Tim Meadows is just perfect.
I think I had a top 5 in my rankings, top 5 or top 6, but that's one of the ones that like definitely gets better each time you watch.
But also, because I'm usually annoyed when Tim Robinson hands off a great character to someone else, because I'm like, I would rather see him do it. But Tim Meadows nails this one.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Goo.
Yeah.
Did you see the who are the shorts now on SNL? Those boys.
Oh, Do Not Destroy.
Did you see the short they did with Chalamet this past weekend?
No, I'm going to watch it in a second.
It's like, it feels like Tim Robinson. It feels like a Tim Robinson ripoff. Now, those guys are funny enough, but that feels like a Tim Robinson sketch. Watch it and tell me.
I don't mean to speak ill of people, but I mean, their stuff feels like a mix of Lonely Island and Tim Robinson.
They're just capitalizing on what the other two had done successfully.
And then also, I mean, they were on Fallon the other day, and 2 of their fathers were writers on SNL. So it's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, all right. That makes sense.
But also, I saw the first 4 minutes of their Peacock movie coming out, and Conan O'Brien's in it, and Conan made me laugh.
All right. When's that out? Is it out already?
Soon.
Okay.
I thought it was a TV series, and then my cousin told me, no, it's a movie.
I believe it's a movie, yeah.
Shut up, dude. All right, so I don't know. News dump at the end of the week. You go have fun. Yeah, you go to Hawaii.
We'll see if I ever come back.
And then did you win your raffle?
No, did not win.
Looks like Mac is coming back.
Yeah.
Mac's coming back.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
So yeah, I will find someone. I'll go to our deep bench of Mac and Goo fill-ins and get Doc or something.
Well, wait, are you catching any screenings this week? Because we have like fucking 3 or 4. Of course, the week I'm not here.
I am going to see Next Goal Wins tomorrow night or tonight
Text me and
or
let me know
last
how that
night.
is. Yeah.
Whenever you're listening to this, it'd be last night because this is Goo's Day right now. And then I am not seeing Napoleon because it's being shown at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Sadly, I actually do really want to see it, mainly because Ridley Scott is the man. Like, he is just the best. He's on a rampage right now. He is on a James Cameron rampage right now. Okay. Someone called him out for not having historically accurate things in the movie, and he just goes, "Fuck you." Like,
I respect that.
What a great response.
I do respect that.
Yes. Fantastic. And then was there another one?
Wish, I think, was the other one.
I'm just not going to see Wish. I don't want to see Wish.
Okay, fair enough.
But maybe I will. Who knows?
Yeah. All right.
All right, Mac, you enjoy your flight.
All right, thanks.
Hopefully you get to watch a bunch of sweet movies on the plane theater.
On the plane theater, yeah. There you go.
Are you on one of those planes that has a theater on it?
Yeah, of course. I spent up for that. Yeah.
Would people spend up for one of those, you think? No, probably not.
For those seats, for sure.
That's a good point. I would love comfortable seats.
I've never done a flight this long, 11 or 12 hours, so I don't know what the seat's going to be like.
I've done 24 hours and I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, that might be me in a day.
Yeah, so, all right, Tuesdays are Goose Days. I abuse kangaroos.
Bye.
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.